Elara and Jax stood on a cliff overlooking a universe of fractured mirrors, each shard reflecting a kaleidoscope of stars. The air thrummed with a strange resonance, a symphony of possibility. Since their escape with the glowing orb, their partnership had solidified, not through glimpses of alternate selves, but through quiet moments of trust. Jax teaching Elara to navigate portal flux, Elara sharing equations that steadied his restless spirit. Their connection was a tether in the multiverse's chaos. Their respite ended as they stepped through a portal into a crystalline citadel, its spires pulsing with light. Here, the Aethereans, beings of radiant energy, greeted them warily. Their leader, Zara, emerged, her form a lattice of golden filaments. "You carry a relic of power," she said, eyeing the orb. "Why?" Elara hesitated, then spoke. "We found it in a war zone. It's linked to the Nexus, the ones chasing us." Zara's light dimmed, a flicker of unease. "The Nexus fuels a war tearing the multiverse apart. We fight the Voidwalkers to preserve harmony, but they're not the mindless evil you might think." The Voidwalkers struck before Zara could elaborate. A rift tore open, spilling shadowed figures, entities of entropy, their forms jagged and fluid, whispering of loss. But their attack wasn't chaos, it was calculated, targeting the Citadel's energy core. Elara glimpsed a Voidwalker pause, its tendrils tracing a fallen Aetherian's light as if mourning. Were they driven by vengeance, not malice? War engulfed them. The Citadel trembled as Aetherian beams met Voidwalker darkness, the clash fracturing reality itself. Jax pulled Elara behind a crystalline wall as a Voidwalker lunged, its voice a rasp. "You hoard existence. We reclaim what's lost." Jax fired his weapon, dispersing it, but its words lingered, hinting at a deeper wound. In the chaos, Elara clutched the orb, its warmth surging. "It's a cosmic key," she said, recalling fragmented data from her lab. "It manipulates reality. But how?" She fumbled with it, her scientific rigor clashing with its alien design. No beams of light came, instead her touch sparked a vision. Universes folding, probabilities shifting. It overwhelmed her, the key resisting her control. "We're losing ground," Zara shouted, her glow weakening as Voidwalkers breached the walls. "Help us, or this ends here." Jax met Elara's gaze, his hand steadying hers. "You've got this." His faith ignited her resolve. She pressed the key again, wrestling with its power. A pulse erupted, not light, but a ripple that bent space, hurling Voidwalkers back through their rift. The Aetherians rallied, but the victory was fleeting. Zara approached, her tone sharp. "That was reckless. The key's power is untamed." Her words cut, revealing her own fear. She'd lost kin to the war, her stoicism a mask for grief. "The Nexus wants all the keys. They arm both sides, prolonging this bloodshed for their own ends. Control, perhaps, or something darker." "What do they gain?" Jax pressed. Zara's filaments tightened. "They speak of convergence, a unity of realities. But at what cost?" Her reluctance hinted at internal strife. Some Aetherians, she admitted, questioned their endless fight, yearning for peace over dominance. The Nexus's shadow loomed as a sleek ship descended, disgorging agents with weapons pulsing red. "Surrender the key," one demanded. Jax tackled Elara out of a blast's path, his body shielding hers as debris rained down. Pain flared in his shoulder, but he grinned through it. "Not letting you go that easy." Her heart clenched. Love, fierce and unbidden, surged as she pulled him to safety. "You idiot," she muttered, tears blurring her vision. Their bond, tested in fire, was no longer just partnership. It was everything. The battle escalated. Voidwalkers returned, their assault relentless, and the Nexus pressed from above. Zara rallied her forces, but the Citadel's core flickered, its light fading. "We need the key again," she urged. Elara gripped it, doubt gnawing at her. "It's not a weapon, it's a tool, and I barely understand it." She traced its etchings, her mind racing. This time she focused not on force, but connection, linking the Citadel's energy to the key. A lattice of golden threads erupted, weaving a barrier that repelled both Voidwalkers and Nexus alike. The tide turned, but the cost was immediate. The key's power fractured reality further. Rifts yawned wide, swallowing Aetherians and Voidwalkers into oblivion. A child's cry cut off mid-breath, and Zara's anguished shout pierced the air. "What have you done?" Elara froze, the key's glow dimming in her bloodless hands. Bodies were gone, lives erased by her hand. Jax pulled her close, his voice a lifeline. "You didn't mean it. We'll fix this." But the weight crushed her. She'd sought to protect, not destroy. Zara turned away, her light dim with betrayal, and the surviving Aethereans whispered of the Keybearer's curse. The Nexus ship retreated, its mission thwarted, yet the battlefield was a graveyard of Elara's making. As silence fell, Elara sank to her knees, the key heavy in her lap. "I didn't know," she whispered, guilt choking her. Jax knelt beside her, his touch gentle but firm. "We'll face it together, whatever comes." The war between Aethereans and Voidwalkers raged on, its roots deeper than good versus evil. Perhaps a cycle of loss and reclamation neither side could escape. The Nexus's vague ambition loomed, a puppet master in the shadows. And the cosmic key, a Pandora's box of potential, demanded mastery Elara wasn't sure she could achieve. Their love held fast, a beacon amid the wreckage, but the rift's echoes haunted her. The multiverse trembled, its future uncertain, and Elara knew their journey had only begun, one now stained with unintended blood.